Hey everybody, and welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We'll talk about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart,
Kevin Hart,
and today we are talking about our top 5 lightsaber duels. So when we were talking about the idea of doing this top 5 lightsaber battles in anticipation of the new Obi Wan Kenobi show coming out, we decided to make a chart, 10 points that could lead to 30 points total. We did stakes, choreography, and memorability, like how memorable was that scene, and you can get 10 for each bracket, leading to 30 total. And then we added them all up. Yeah, it was a pretty fair way to judge it because we have our favorites, but we did it point by point. And I was pretty shocked at the list at the end. We're going to do live action films only for the casual Star Wars fans. We'll keep it simple. But honorable mention goes out to A New Hope. The battle between Obi Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader is a pretty important lightsaber duel. The dialogue is very important as far as the characters. The stakes are high just because, you know, that Obi-Wan sacrifices himself for Luke and the rebels to get out while the Empire is chasing them with the stormtroopers. So it is a good scene. It is memorable, but the choreography is atrocious. It's like a geriatric man and a robot just going like, and like they were still working out the kinks of how to work these lightsaber duels. So for that reason, it's just an honorable mention. One more I wanted to mention too, but this isn't technically a lightsaber duel, but it does involve lightsabers. But The Last Jedi,
I know you like cream over this one.
I love The Last Jedi. I'll defend that movie. But this scene in particular, it's when Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting against the Praetorian Guards in like Snoke's chamber. It is gorgeous.
The colors,
some of the best looking Star Wars I've ever seen. The set piece is immaculate.
It's the red. It's the red that does it for me.
Obviously, there's that infamous thing where like the guard
drops
the missing weapon, and then Rey takes him out. But it's a really cool scene. I remember being in the theater being like, this is pretty damn cool.
Well, let's get into it. Coming in at number 1 is Finn versus Effin 2199. The traitor battle.
The guy's nasty with that thing.
Of all the lightsaber duels, that's the one that comes in at number 1.
I remember that got memed so hard when The Force Awakens came out. It was just such a little stupid scene that became such a big deal.
John Boyega in general, his mouth is a meme. He's like,
just constantly screaming.
He's like the Instagram filter.
The whole trilogy is just 9 hours of him screaming Rey's name.
Where's Rey?
Where's Rey?
Rey. Try to find Rey to Rey.
Acting like an imbecile.
Dude was simping so hard. But let's get into it for real, though. Coming in at number 5, least to best. Let's go with what's number 5.
Number 5 came in as The Force Awakens. Kylo Ren versus Rey and Finn. For stakes and plot, I gave it an 8. You gave it a 6.5. For choreography, I gave it a 6. You gave it a 7. And for memorability, I gave it a 7. You gave it an 8. This is a pretty beautiful lightsaber duel. J.J. Abrams did a beautiful job of making this actual set, which they had all these artists paint this background. If you've seen the special features on The Force Awakens, they literally made like a flat sheet of painting
snow
and made it look with depth. The snow is fake, obviously, but these trees that are in the background, they look 3D and like they're in different foregrounds and backgrounds, but it's literally just a flat surface. And this artist came in and made it look 3-dimensional, and it is on a backlot. It's a really cool set. The colors pop.
Yeah, that's why like people are probably gonna hate us for this one, but there's something so memorable about it. The colors.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's the lighting. The lighting is so gorgeous and cinematic with the reds and the blues and the snow. I'm a sucker for snow. So everything about it, the set was really cool. It's just gorgeous. The visuals are so gorgeous. It's not really like a mind-blowing lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
It's kind of short, sweet, underwhelming as a franchise. And this lightsaber fight too with Rey and Finn. None of them are deserving of wielding the lightsaber, but Kylo Ren's always kind of a cool person, and it's just there's something about it that made its way to the list.
Yeah, I love Kylo Ren. I love that he was like the whiny baby emo boy version of Darth Vader. That he just
sad boy.
He's trying so hard to be badass like Vader. Yeah. He's throwing these temper tantrums with the lightsaber, and then at the end when we see that, because the marketing led us to believe that Finn was going to be the new like Luke Skywalker, the new Jedi,
yeah.
And then in the film we see that she catches the lightsaber and does a whole twist. She pulls a Urkel. Did I do that? She grabs it. It goes to her. and we see that she's gonna be the new Jedi. And it's the one thing I hate about it is that I don't buy for a second
She should not be able to go
to
toe to
wield
toe
it with this guy that's like a Sith Lord at this point. He's been trained, and there's one shot where they're like wrestling with the lightsabers, and she's like 95 pounds,
wet
with the bun. It's like 100, but
Yeah.
and then Kylo Ren is just like at the mercy of her. And I don't
got
buy
the
that
shakes.
for a second. yeah, I don't buy it for a second.
Not at all.
As far as like a movie going experience, I remember being in the theater and being like, this is pretty cool. And I liked that they brought it back to that old school like lightsaber duels. We saw that in the prequels. They went very heavy with the choreography.
Yes.
And
I was kind of hoping we would get that in the
a
new
little
trilogy.
bit, but at the same time too, it was cool that
It's understandable.
that they paid homage to the OG trilogy and did like the
Sword fights.
more
Yeah.
sword fighting and like dialogue driven, plot driven sword battles. So number 5 on our list.
Number 4.
Number
I'm gonna go down the
4.
list. What's number 4?
Number 4, we got, based on the point system, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back. This would be a number 1 on my list or a number 2 on my list any day of the week, but just based on the points that we did, this is where it came in. Stakes and plot, I gave it a 9, you gave it an 8. Choreography, I gave it an 8, you gave it a 7. Memorability, I gave it a 10, and you gave it an 8. I think this is one of the most iconic scenes in film history.
It's pretty good.
I was talking to you before, like, if there was one set that I could ever, like, time travel to or teleport to, just to see that movie being made, this is the set that I want to see. Like, Luke versus Vader in Empire is so memorable to me. As a kid, I remember when like he cuts Luke's hand off and then telling him I'm your father. I remember losing my mind. It's so iconic. It's been,
cinematic
parodied
history.
in movies, and it's just so memorable. As far as the choreography though, Luke is still untrained.
Yeah, he's new. Yeah.
He's like
He's a rookie.
Vader's just playing with him.
Yeah.
I love it. He's just like, like doing one of these, like pointing at him, and then he's just like one-handed lightsaber.
Yeah.
And Luke gets one good shot in, and then Vader like responds by cutting his hand. Just he suns him.
He even acknowledges. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
then he's
pretty
like,
cool.
all right, let me put an end to this. Cuts his hand off.
Yeah.
And then tells him that I'm your daddy. And
I'm your dad.
but as far as memorability, this stuck with me heavy.
Yeah,
as a kid.
Like you were saying, just like the set pieces, it kind of makes its way through a few of them.
A few different scenes.
Because, again, like you said, plot-driven. Luke is kind of on the run. He's desperate, right?
Yeah.
He's just trying to escape. He doesn't know what he's doing. Vader's just like, I'm coming for your head. So that was really cool how they go from, like... I like the first part the most, where he's like, when he tries to freeze him and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
the steam and everything.
Those
and the
orange and blue.
The lighting.
fog.
The lighting. Even the way Vader's saber comes out is like...
So slow.
The sound.
He had it on the ready.
He had it on the ready.
It was amazing. Like he already has it out, and then the way that it's shot, where like it just like slowly comes out, is so badass to me. It's like this. You don't know who you're messing with. Luke rushed there not selfishly, pretty selflessly, because Yoda said, if you go, you're gonna get washed, basically, and that's exactly what happened. So, but he was selfless enough to go and try to help his friends.
The way Vader's saber comes out, it comes out erect. I'm erect. You'll find I'm full of something. You know what I'm saying?
But it really is such a good lightsaber duel. Like I said, to me this would be a number 1 any day. But just based on our list and the point system, this came in number 4. Mm-hmm. I love it. But let's see what else we got. Kevin, take us into our top 3.
Coming in at number 3, this one kind of surprised me because personally it might be one of my favorites, just based on like nostalgic factor alone. Mm-hmm. The Phantom Menace between Qui-Gon Jinn, young Obi Wan Kenobi, the rapper formerly known as Old Ben Kenobi, and then Darth Maul. Enough said. Let's keep it moving. The coolest lightsaber design in history, in my opinion.
That's pretty damn cool.
It's untouchable. The dual lightsaber, the two, how it could become one if you needed to. So sick. Darth Maul's design alone is sick. Beautiful. The fact that he's taking on 2 Jedi is so amazing to me.
Yeah, it's pretty
Not
cool.
only is he fighting them, but he's doing like backflips. He's force opening doors. All of it. The set, you're talking about set pieces. This set piece is so cool to me too.
It's pretty unique.
How they got like, first of all, I guess just in Star Wars lore, anytime you're gonna have a lightsaber battle, the stakes have to be you're gonna free fall to your death. Because anytime these guys go off the wrong ledge, they're free falling into space. Like if the fear from falling for 10 minutes doesn't kill them, the head crush from exploding in space will kill them.
Yeah, this is a good one, man. Like you said, nostalgic value is up there, but it is just a good lightsaber duel. We were just watching it on your TV, and with the surround sound.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it sounds good. The lightsaber's going. But as far as points goes, let's see. We got Phantom Menace, stakes in the plot, we both agreed on 7.5. Choreography, I gave this thing a 10. You gave it a 9. And memorability, I gave it a 10. You gave it a 10.
Yeah. This one's pretty up there, yeah.
The year was, what was it, 99? 99 when this movie came out. We went to Lowe's Stony Brook AMC Theater. Place hasn't changed a bit. There's still piss and murdered bodies on the walls. But I remember seeing this for the first time. And as a kid, this was like the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Up until that point, I had to take a piss during this lightsaber battle.
We drank like 2-liter sodas.
So I missed Qui-Gon's death, and we had to go again the next day to go see it just for this lightsaber battle. But this thing is so memorable. I loved Obi Wan Kenobi. I thought he was so cool.
Him and his rat tail.
His little grunge phase where he's got the rat tail hanging out. But like you said, Darth Maul is so... he's iconic to me. Like he's just as iconic as Vader and everything else to me. His design alone, Ray Park with the stunt actions, he's incredible. And I love when Qui-Gon dies, how
Obi-Wan comes rushing
how emotional,
out the gate.
how angry, because like Jedi, they're supposed to keep it in check, right? And they're supposed to be on the defense most of the time. But when his master gets killed, he's coming out the gate. He's ready. He's like,
swinging.
He's like, yo, let's go. It's on sight. It's on sight. He comes out. He's rushing out.
He's like, they're both pacing, and then
it's so
they,
cool.
Well, that was Qui-Gon, right? That did the Force meditate. So he was like the seasoned vet. So that was cool. And then to see like the young like aggression come out, that was really cool.
But I just thought it was so cool, like how it was like based on revenge almost at that point. Like he's like, yo, I'm coming here to kick your ass. I'm gonna cut you in half in 30 seconds. And you don't even know about it yet. But he comes rushing out, and they do this really cool choreography with the lightsabers, where they're like jumping underneath and over it, and like over the back and all this stuff. And I think that was like peak lightsaber to me, because I remember seeing that like growing up as a kid, seeing the original trilogy. It's so cool, but to see it choreographed like that was like mind-blowing, especially as like a 7-year-old boy or whatever we were. It's a great scene. And obviously Darth Maul was so iconic that they had to bring him back. Number 2 coming on the list, we have Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader once again, but this time it is going to be in Return of the Jedi. I love this. This is my number 1 if I had to choose on my own list.
It's pretty up there.
Just on bias alone. But as far as the points go, let's see. Jedi.
It's so tough, though, man. This is why
they're all great. They're all great, yeah. But Jedi, for the stakes in the plot, I gave it a 10. You gave it a 9. Choreography, I gave it an 8. You gave it an 8.5. Memorability, I gave it a 10. You gave it a 9. So this one really stuck out to me, too, as a kid, because I remember like loving to watch this one as a kid. This was my favorite Star Wars movie up until about 5 years ago, and then Empire just became my favorite. It's such a cool movie. Everything's firing. You have the space battle with the rebels going against the second Death Star, and then you have the Emperor and Vader and Luke in this throne chamber or whatever.
This is the Ewoks, right?
And then you have the rebels with like the Ewoks on the ground. Like there's battles going everywhere. The stakes are high. This is like the battle for Luke's soul with the Emperor and Vader. Everything is firing. It's a pretty epic conclusion to the first trilogy. Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for green sabered Luke. I prefer the green lightsaber as opposed to the blue.
Yeah, I like green saber.
He just looks cool with the black. He looked clean as hell.
Murdered out Jedi.
He's got the one robotic fist
hand. It's such a badass look, and I loved seeing him again in Mandalorian season 2.
As opposed to Empire Strikes Back, he's coming back now with the tables turned. Right, he was on the run. This fight, Vader's kind of like. He's getting pushed back a little bit after he throws that saber, which is so cool to me, to try and like draw him out, draw out the blood, because he's like, I refuse. Him and the Emperor just trying to suck the soul out of this guy. And then
it really is a battle for his soul. In this
it's a battle for light and good. You know, they try and get Leia into the fore, and that's when he freaks out. And that's I think that's like a very heroic moment, because instead of allowing her to succumb to the darkness, he kind of takes that place, and he almost goes full dark, and it's the redemption of Vader, so it's like an iconic moment.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, even our introduction to Luke in this film, like you said, we saw in Empire, he was untrained, he learned the hard way, he lost his hand. In this one, we meet him in Jabba's palace, right? He's walking in, like,
he's mad
cloaked up, murdered out, telling the Gamorrean guards, like, go scratch, I need to talk to Jabba. He just comes in so badass, and you're like, all right, this is the Last Jedi.
Yeah, seriously.
This is our guy. And then at the end, when you see, like, he's trying to keep his calm in the throne room, and his lightsaber's right next to the Emperor, and the Emperor's just being such a prick. He really is. He's like, don't you want this lightsaber? Don't you strike me down?
He's just like, he's like tapping it. He's like, get off.
Yeah, he really is just like I would slap the crap out of this guy. And then
he's got his forehead going on.
And I absolutely love when Luke finally is just like, yo, screw this guy. Force
grabs
his lightsaber, turns it on, goes to kill him, and Vader's just got the Emperor's back. Even
sick.
though what we know from Revenge of the Sith, that Vader was screwed by the Emperor, it's just cool to see that Vader's so loyal to this guy. Yeah, to a fault. But I think, like you said, the green and red is such a nice contrast of colors in that like gorgeous throne room with the blacks, the heavy blacks, and the shadows. And then, like you said too, when Vader starts like toying with him, he's like, "Oh, like if you won't succumb to the dark side, I'm gonna get your sister Leia." Yeah, and then Luke just emotionally responds again, like almost like Obi-Wan in Phantom Menace after Qui-Gon's death. He just comes out tearing ass. He's just like, it's like a baseball bat. He's just like crushing Vader with
mad
it.
aggressive.
And then he cuts his hand off.
Yes.
And then he realizes that the darkness has overcome him. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was a mirror image in that moment. He's like, I could become this, and then he throws it away, right?
It's poetry.
It's poetry. And he throws the lightsaber away, and he says, "I'm a Jedi Knight like my father before me." Hell yeah! It's so good, man.
Yeah.
That original
Epic.
trilogy
Really is epic.
is so damn good. This is my number one.
Changes
We're
on
gonna
the
take
fly.
a turn. This is gonna be my number one.
No, it's great.
Nah, but it
Because
really
it's
is.
epic.
It
Epic
really is
conclusion.
so...
Like I said, epic conclusion of the first trilogy. And like you said, you got the. I love the window of the Death Star. First of all,
it's
like
great.
that's to me that's iconic enough with the throne and
Real
everything.
quick tangent. I always want to know how the construction crew built the second Death Star, because it's like half built, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, who's coming in
What's
there?
the physics behind this?
Yeah, I was like, I just need to see. I want to see that movie, the construction crew showing up, just getting sauced by 4 p.m. Like, all right, guys, we gotta get the hell out of here. But what a scene, man.
What a scene. Number one. We made it.
Take it away, Kevin.
It was tight, man. It was tight, but it had to be done. Revenge of the Sith. Choreography on fleek on this one. This is like, we said peak before. This is peak. The way the choreography, they did it, how fast it was, how like seasoned they both were in this moment. I think it's like, we'll never see a better lightsaber duel ever.
as far as, like you said, like speed and choreography, this was like the peak of the Jedi, right? And like you mentioned too, it's a double feature, a 2-for-1.
A simultaneous fight with freaking Yoda and the Emperor.
We get Yoda kicking ass against the Emperor. I have chills. My nipples are hard just thinking about this scene. I remember being in the theater opening night, people dressed as Vader and stuff. Our dad was dead asleep. Our dad was snoring. I was like, "Yo, Dad, you're embarrassing me." But the fight, the simultaneous fight between Yoda and the Emperor, when Yoda walks in, he's
Top
just like,
dog.
boom, and like pushes like the guards to the side, and then he's just like calling the Emperor out on his nonsense, right?
He's like, enough's enough.
Yeah, he's basically calling him a coward, a fraud, and he's like, "Yo, like let's get it right here, right now." And then you have Obi-Wan and Anakin, which it really is a tragic story.
It's tragic.
Between
It really
Anakin's like demise, his trust in the dark side with the Emperor, how he was betrayed, and then like we said, is loyal to a fault to this guy until his death in Return of the Jedi. It was just such an epic battle. And I remember too, Kevin Smith once said that as a kid growing up with the OG trilogy, that there was a book that Lucas wrote and talked about a lava volcano planet that Vader's castle was on, that like basically the prequels that we see,
but only until then you could only imagine.
Yeah, and he said even seeing Revenge of the Sith, seeing that come to life was so cool. This like lava volcano Mustafar battle they have, it's pretty.
That's pretty high
damn
stakes.
cool.
What was the points on that again? Yeah.
Points wise, let's see. We got stakes and plot. We agreed on a 10.
10. It's a 10.
Yeah. Choreography, I went 9. You went 10.
10. Yeah.
And memorability, we both agreed on 9. It came in the highest with 57 points total.
I just love that Anakin's eyes are like turning yellow. You can see him
yeah.
going down the dark side and everything. The cloak's up. I love the duel when like they're just flipping the lightsabers for like 3 minutes. At any given moment, someone could have ended the battle right there.
That's where the choreography was to a fault. That's the one reason I brought it to a 9. Yeah,
it's too much.
It's a little much. That's why it lost 1 notch for me, because it's such a beautiful lightsaber duel with the epic stakes and everything. It's super memorable.
I just feel like in that moment, though, like maybe they don't want to harm each other. So it's not just to look flashy. I think it's also, like you said, story driven. Of these are two brothers that have been on this journey since Anakin was a kid. Qui-Gon apprenticed Obi-Wan. All of it is just so epic.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah. So it's just like they don't want to kill each other, but it's just like there was so many moving parts with Anakin, with Padme, and the Emperor, and all this. Like the epicness of Yoda foreshadowing it all. Just that's why the stakes are 10, because this is the kid's demise. This is it. He's not going back here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even like the Phantom Menace, that I think it was the first teaser poster. It showed like a young Anakin, and then like his shadow was Vader. Do you remember that?
I hated the kid that played Anakin, but yeah.
yeah, most do. But that's why he went off the grid. That's why he's a heroin addict. But
succumb to the dark side.
But that you could tell that this was the movie that George Lucas wanted to make and show the demise of Anakin. And like you said, maybe if they casted a better kid, we would feel more. But like as far as Hayden Christensen goes, he's a terrible actor. But like I really did feel for Anakin in these movies. Like you said, there's a lot of moving parts in the background, and you want so bad to just like tell, bro, stop. You know, like if you just listen to your boys and like open your eyes.
He's naive.
Yeah, you're being used and stuff. But it is so cool knowing that he is about to become
Vader,
such a badass force
iconic
strong
cinematic
one of the
character.
Strongest force users in the galaxy. And
but it is so
cool.
sad because that moment when, which is so quotable, is like, to me, the Jedi or the Vader. He's like, you were a brother, Anakin. All of that is so memorable.
As
but
cheesy as the dialogue is there, it hits.
It hits. It doesn't miss, man. When he's on fire, so bad. He's like, legs are freaking cut off. He's on fire. It's just all like...
He had the high ground. Obi-Wan had the high ground.
This didn't have to happen, and that's why it's like, oh, man. Like, not only is it a cool lightsaber fight visually, because, like, they're fighting on this lava planet. The stakes are so high in general. They're fighting on, like, 4-inch hoverboards. Anakin almost eats it. So, like, the duel could have ended twice at that point, but the whole brotherly tension, the simultaneous Yoda Emperor, the score, you know.
Oh, my God. The music
like,
in both of these fights going at the same time is bone chilling. But like you said too, like
epic.
When it is super epic, that's why it is number one. Like it does deserve to be number one on this list. Again, this is just our list. It's subjective. I would love to see your guys' input on this. But that scene where Vader, you know, after he has the high ground, cuts him in half, and then he starts getting on fire, and he's like, "I hate you," and he says, "You were my brother, Anakin." Like that hurts to my core. Even just rewatching it before,
I lost a lot of sleep over this one.
Even just rewatching it, I was just like, damn, like that's tough, man. Like it really is tough. But it's so super memorable. It was a great way to end the prequel trilogy. Even though the prequels get a lot of hate, there is a ton of fans for them. But overall, I feel like they get a lot of hate. There's a lot of good, but a lot of hatred towards them. I feel like this was a great way to end that, and the lightsaber duels really were showcased in those movies, and that's why this is number one on our list.
What are your guys' top 5 lightsaber duels? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!